Hi guys, and welcome to this Divi tutorial. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Yesterday we made a video, and in that video we were doing some CSS effects and we used some media queries. A gentleman by the name of Amar has asked me a question here. I hope I said your name right there. He says he wants to learn more about media queries. So I'm going to make a quick video here just explaining what they are and why we use them. Media queries are CSS, so I'm using WordPress here. I'm using the Divi theme. It's awesome. If you use WordPress, you really ought to consider using it. You can get it from a link below this video. But what we're doing today is pure CSS, so it'll work on a Bootstrap site or an HTML site, any site that you can apply CSS to. So I built a little, we've got 3 columns here, 3 little text boxes with an image, a title, and a bit of text in them. Now what media queries are, is you've got a viewable screen size, and you can say, well, if people are viewing on a screen that's only so wide, I want this to happen. Or if it's between this size and this size, I want this to happen. So let's just demonstrate this. Like I say, I've got 4 just regular text blocks with no real decoration or anything going on here. So let's go to my options and down to my custom CSS field. Like I say, I'm using Divi. If you're using it, you go to Divi, General tab, down at the bottom is your custom CSS field. A lot of other themes have a custom CSS field in the customization, which is usually under appearance. Customize there. So let's make a bit of space. I'll just give it a title. I'll call it media queries. It's always a good idea to give it a title so you can find it later on. / */ and we do this so it quotes it out so it doesn't get read by the browser as code. Now, different devices have different width screen. I mean, that's pretty obvious. For instance, if you're viewing on a desktop, it's 24-inch screen I'm working with at the moment. It's probably, I don't know, I'm guessing 1900 by 1080 pixels or something like that. I could just check the video resolution, it would tell me. And on an iPad, of course, it's a lot smaller. And on an iPhone, it's going to be a lot smaller still. So you may want things to display differently on different device sizes, because many times things can look choked up or out of place when they look in place on a desktop. Perhaps they'll be out of place on a phone. So let's add a media query, a typical media query. Well, in fact, there's one just down below. So you always start with @media. So it's @media. And then you say screen. And then just open a set of regular brackets. And inside here is where you want to put your media query. I've got a double there. I'm not going to do that. I'll do that in a moment. That's saying between this size and this size, do this. But I'm going to start with max width. I'm just going to say 1200 pixels. So what I'm saying is I want something to happen when a screen size has a maximum width. That means as far as it can go of 1200 pixels. Now after that, I just open and close some curly brackets, and anything we put it inside here will be applied. I don't need that now, obviously. Will be applied on screens that are smaller than 1200 pixels, screens that have a maximum width of 1200, lesser or equal to. So let's say, let's look at what we've got here. We've got 4 little text blocks. Let's give them a class so we can actually target them with some CSS. In this, we go to advanced on the Divi theme here, and I'll give it a class of MQ1. And I guess I'll do the same. So media query 1, you can call yours whatever class you want, whatever name you want, just remember what it is. And I'll do the same for these other ones here. This way we can target them with some CSS because they've got a name. It's like giving them a name, a handle if you like. Update that. Now if we look at the page itself, it's pretty, nothing going on. But just to demonstrate this, I'm going to do a bit of dramatic CSS just so you can see what's going on. If I hit the F12 key, I'm using Google Chrome here, the browser. And if you hit the F12, it brings up the inspector, developer tools inspector here. And it's got a responsive tab you can hit. And once you've hit it, you can drag things in and out, make them smaller. As you see, it's shrinking down. It's responsive, this site, so the columns are collapsing into one another, which is great. And up the top here, you can see the actual width of it, that first number there. So when I pull it up, that number goes up. Push it back, the number goes down. Alright, so let's demonstrate some media queries. We've given these all a name of MQ1, I believe is what I gave them. So let's make something happen. The media query I just wrote was under 1200, so let's make something happen when it goes under 1200 to just demonstrate this. So let's go back to our custom CSS. So we gave it a class, we gave it a MQ1, so it's class dot and the name MQ1. And open and close some curly brackets in there. And within here we can put our CSS. So if we look at our site here, let's do something dramatic. At the moment there's nothing going on. We've got an image. If you right click and inspect it, so you've got IMG image, and you've got a heading tag, right click and inspect, so that's an H2, and you've got some paragraph text, which will just be a P. You see it's highlighted the P there. So we can target all those individually as well as targeting our whole block here. So let's add some CSS. Let's just make the background, let's say blue. Of course the text is dark, so let's make the text light. Let's say, well, we'll leave that for the moment. We're targeting the whole thing there. Now let's target the text inside of it. Media query 1, P is the paragraph text. Let's make that white, I guess. So again, open and close some curly brackets. And color. That's white, FFF, or 6 Fs. And now let's target that heading. So it's media query 1, which is the block, and inside is the H2. Open and close some curlies. And let's make that, I don't know, let's say yellow. It's going to look kind of weird, but there we are. Okay. So let's see what that does. It's going to look pretty ugly. Let's just save our changes. And again, if you're using an HTML site or a Bootstrap site, you can just put this in your style sheet, or you can do it as inline, put it in at the top of your page. Now if we go back to the page, do a quick refresh. Now at the moment we're on 1454. When I shrink down to below 1200, you should see those changes come into play. So here we are, 1294.50. Boom. So you see the background's gone. Ah, H2 didn't work. But you can see the background's changed and the text has changed to white. Ah, that's why. Put an extra V in there. Now there's many uses for this. Like I say, usually it's because things display differently on different devices, and you can use it to just make things look better, if you will. Okay, that's done it. See, that's yellow now. I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of a pale yellow. But let's give that a bit of padding. So we want to put a bit of padding in there because there's no padding. Let's have a look, see. Padding. Give it sort of 15 pixels. Just to make it look a little bit better. Like I say, this is a demo, so I'm not too worried about what it's going to look like. Okay. So there, that's just added. I'll just move this down a little bit. That's just added a bit of padding around the text there, so it's separated a bit. All right, so once we go above 12, it goes back to how it was. Below 12, it goes to that. And anything CSS you can do. So let's add another media query and change it again. This time, let's hide the image on smaller devices and let's align the text to the right. Or let's center align it, I guess. So I'm just going to copy this. Drop down a line. There we go, and I've just copied it. Now I'm going to say, let's say 900. And let's make this background green. Let's also give it a border. Let's give it a border. So make it 2 pixels solid. Might want to spell it right. Remember, if you spell things wrong when you're coding, things don't tend to work. Okay, padding, that's fine. Here's the text. Let's make this yellow this time. Don't need that hashtag in there because we're using a color. And let's align the text to center. So we'll say text align center. So that'll, you know, if you're shrinking down for a desktop, it may look great aligned left on the desktop. But then on a mobile phone, you may want it to be centralized because it's going to be on a lot more smaller screen. And let's just make this white. And we might decide that we don't want to have an image. So let's just look at our site here. I'm not going to do anything just now. But let's say when it goes to smaller, to our 900, let's say we want this image to disappear. Well, if we right click on it, I know it's IMG, but you may not. So we can target IMG. We could make the image bigger, or we can make it disappear. I'm going to make it disappear. So that would be MQ1 class IMG. It's the image on there. And it just gives you so many more options for customizing your site on various different devices. You can ensure that responsively it's going to work, you know. So I've told it to display none. Now let's save that. Go back to our site. I'm going to pull it above 12 again. Refresh. Now when we go below 12, the background should go blue, text white, etc. Then when we go down to 9 or below 9, it should turn green background. And that image should disappear. So let's try that. So, okay, we're down to 12. We saw that already. Now let's go down below 9. There we go, and the background's gone green, and as you can see the image has disappeared. And let's just center align that as well. H2 color FFF. There we go. And you can put in different values as well, double values. For instance, let's go back in here. See, what was our last media query? It was 900. So let's just copy this again, argument's sake. Say we want something to happen between 600 and 700. Probably wouldn't want that, but just as an example. Oh, I copied that twice. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's say we want it to happen between max width of 800. Well, let's say 800 and 600. So all we need to do is just add an and after that. Open some more regular brackets. And we'll say min width of, what did we say? 800, let's say 600. 600 pics. Okay, so what we've done there, I've got a little extra space in there. We're telling it anytime the screen has a max width of 800 and a minimum width of 600, so sort of minimum of 600, maximum of 800, some kind of small tablet or something like that, or even a large phone, we want something to happen. So let's say, make that red, just so we can see what's going on. It's going to be an extremely ugly sight. Padding, let's drop the padding down to 10. Let's have a yellow border. P, and let's have our text not display at all. So I'll just put display none. And our heading, we'll keep it centered. I guess we'll make that yellow again. Just trying to make things stand out so you can see what's going on. Centered, that's fine. Image, this time let's make our image bigger. Let's make our image, give it a width and height. So at the moment it's 150 by 150, I think. Hello, it's throwing up a flag here. Oh, I've got an F on the end of yellow there. Teaching me to talk and type at the same time. Okay, so image, what did we say? We're going to give it a width and a height attribute. So let's say 250. And a height. I don't know if it was a square image or not, but let's put 250 as well. It may skew it, but it doesn't matter. It's just for demonstration. Okay, let's save that. So let's see what we've done here. That's something else down there. So we're going to want this to happen between 800 and 600 pics. Let's go back to our site. We've saved this. Do a refresh. Start back up at the top. So 1200 blue. 900 was the green and no image. There it is. And now we said 800 to 600. We want no text. Image should be bigger, 250. And we still got a title, I believe. So let's have a look, see. Drop below 800. There we go. And we've got no image for some reason. We've got the yellow border and the title. Why have we got no image? I guess we've got to tell it to display again. So there we go. Slightly out of the box there. Well, let's give it a margin. I'll give it a negative margin on the top. That'll put it back in the box there. There we go, it's back inside. So, okay, we've gone that, blah, blah, blah. Green, title, no image. Shrinking down, got the image now. Then when it drops below, we said only wants to do this between 6 and 800. So what happens when we drop below 600? It reverts back to the one that was before that. And to finish off, you could just say anything below 600. Copy this one more time. So to hit below 600, we want to say anything with a maximum width of 600. And we can get rid of the and minimum because we don't really want this affecting anything. And we'll say background white. Or whatever, whatever you want to do. Padding 105, that's why that was not placed. Okay, that was too much there. 5. Border 2 pix solid. And we'll have our text back. H2, say, light grey. And we'll keep it centered. Image. Take away that margin top. We shouldn't need it now. And in fact, I'm going to take all that away. And the image should just display at its default settings there. Now I knocked off the last closing curly brackets. You don't want to do that. Whenever you're doing media queries, you want to make sure that at the end you've always got two. One's for the CSS inside and one's for the actual containing media query itself. So let's save that and see what happens now. We'll go back, we'll draw it up. Oh, I just want to change that padding on this red bit here. That's why it was knocking that image out. So let's just do that quickly. It was on this section. So let's make that 10 pix. Well, let's make it 25 pix just for effect. Okay, so we saved there. We'll go back up to the top again. Refresh. Start cancelling. Or start dragging it down in size. It's 1200. We know what's going to happen there. 900 will be next. There it is. Then between 800 and 600. There we go. So that image, I've given it a width and a height, so it's bigger than the actual element itself. And then below 600. Thought we made that text black. Let's have a look. Below 600. There's the P. Display. Oh, we didn't do anything. We just told it to display again. So color black. Okay, let's save that. There we go. And we've got our black border there as well. And that's not going to change now because we just said anything smaller than 600. It wants to do the same thing. Then we go back up 600 plus. So I hope that explains things for you, Amar. Media queries are awesome for making sure your site, user experience on your site, you can just keep building and building and building and make different things happen on smaller screens and larger screens to ensure that your users get the best experience and everything can be read as best as possible. So there you have it. There's a brief explanation of media queries for you, and anything you can do with CSS you can put inside a media query and you can get some great effects going. So I hope that's been helpful to you. Please subscribe to our channel and like the video if you've enjoyed this. If you're interested in web design, take one of our web design courses below. We've got some huge discounts for our YouTube subscribers. There's some great free courses down there also. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.